The camera that I'm filming right now on is my Canon 70D. And I also own a Canon 80D. I've owned both of them for many years. And I recently was about to upgrade my 70D to have another 80D, but I was talked out of it by the camera guy. And I'm going to share with you why, and why you may or may not want to upgrade your 70D to an 80D. When the Canon 70D came out, I was fired up because this is the first time that an amazing DSLR camera like a Canon that's meant for just taking beautiful photography could really be used effectively in video. It had an auto tracking focus so that if I come up and I come up to the camera like this, notice how blurry the background gets, right? I mean, it just tracks me automatically. And if I come back here, it tracks my face and it just stays in focus. I mean, that's awesome. And the Canon 70D revolutionized DSLR videography, okay? I was so excited about the 70D. This is the same camera that I originally had that we're filming on right now. Now, when the 80D came out, it actually was at a time where I needed two cameras. I needed a second camera. So naturally, I thought, well, let me buy the latest and greatest. So I got the Canon 80D. The two main features that I knew about is that the 80D can film at 60 frames per second. So when I'm filming B-roll or something where I need to use this camera and I want to be able to create some slow motion or use B-roll where I slow it down to 50%. So it's 60 frames per second is quite handy. And I also remember reading about that the autofocus, that autofocus feature was improved on the 80D. Now, a couple weeks ago, I was filming with my great friend Katie. You might have seen some previous videos on my channel where there was an autofocus issue. We set up interview style, but there was no one behind the camera. I had the flip screen just like I'm here. I'm filming this myself, and I can see to the side of the lens, me. It's got the flip screen. So Katie and I were sitting side by side, and I was just looking at the screen to make sure, but from this far away, I can't tell what the focus is doing. And behind us, just like there's a window there, this window, as bright as it looks, there's actually a shade that's come down. The window that I was filming at with Katie was bigger and it was much brighter. And the window was kind of between, I made this mistake, okay? The window was between Katie and I. So the camera would focus on one of our faces, and then because there's such contrast, it would focus on something else. And then it would come back to our faces and it would focus on something else. And we filmed 15 episodes with that error. And I apologize, totally apologize if you watch those other videos and it was irritating to you to have me go blurry and Katie go blurry all the time. That's why. And I was upset about it because, I traveled out to Miami when we filmed all those videos, and I thought, my camera's always been so trustworthy. And so the other day I went to Pictureline, one of the best camera stores here in Utah, and I was about ready to buy an 80D and trade in this 70D. So then I would have two 80Ds. Where's my 80D? Well, I have a filming team and they have my other camera. So that's why I'm filming with my 70D right now. They're both amazing cameras. Why is it tracking me just fine now? Well, because I don't have as much contrast in my background. So I went to Pictureline and I explained why I was looking at doing the upgrade from this camera to the 80D. And I said, I just want to know for sure. Is it just me, or was it because it was too bright in the background? And he said, yeah, it probably was an issue of it being too bright. And I said, okay, well, can you back this up? Is the autofocus feature better on the 80D than the 70D? And he said, well, it is for still photography, but I don't think it is for video. I'm like, oh, well, let's look it up. So we started looking up. I was looking up on my phone. He was looking it up on his or the computer. And we found confirmation that for still photography, the different focal points or whatnot, whatever the term is, the 80D is better than the 70D for that focus on still shots. But we couldn't find anything that indicated that they were different for video. So I chose not to upgrade. And I chose this week for all the filming that I was doing this week. We actually filmed 20 episodes Tuesday, 20 episodes yesterday, and today I'm up to 12 episodes for my channel here. And I haven't had any autofocus issues. I've been paying attention because of that error a couple of weeks ago. So I guess the moral of the story is it may not be necessary. If you've got a 70D, depending on what your reasons are, if you needed that extra 30 frames per second so you could film at 60 and do slow motion, then yeah, that might be worth the upgrade because the Canon 70D can't do that. All the other features seem pretty much identical to me. And if you're doing still shot photography, well then there's your answer. But if you're doing video like I am, the 70D is an amazing camera and it will save you a few $100. I know that if I were buying a brand new camera, say I needed a third one, I would buy the 80D. In fact, I probably would own a third one if Canon would come out with the 80D but also with 4K or with even more frames per second. So when Canon comes out with that camera, yeah, I'm gonna buy that camera. So if you're new here and you're not familiar with my strategy of how I get videos to rank on YouTube on day one, I want to tell you about my keyword research strategy. In fact, I've got another video up here that I go into depth about the strategy, and you can click on that. But right now, I'd like to just give you a gift. I have a keyword research guide, and this will transform your world on how to get results and traffic to your YouTube videos without having to do any marketing. I'll give you this keyword research guide for free. You'll see the number on the screen here. Text HERO1 to 415-528-7403 and you'll get access to that keyword research guide. It's free and I hope you find value in it. And if you'd like more videos like this, then be sure to subscribe and we'll see you tomorrow.